Eek. Oh my gosh. I witnessed an unbelievable scene. Right in front of the factory's office, the Shiba Inu we kept was, unbelievably, biting onto a client's skirt. I hurriedly tried to pull the dog away, but just then, there was a dreadful zapping sound. My name is John. Just an ordinary, mere factory worker you'd find anywhere. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, if I may say. I always hated studying, had bad grades, and as a result, decided to work right after high school. But there weren't many jobs for high school grads, so I faced my fair share of struggles. I first got a job as a security guard, but had a spat with some colleagues and was made to resign. They said I had a bad work attitude, so I vowed to be more diligent in my next job. That's when the card factory's boss, Mr. Williams, took me in. Mr. Williams is a down-to-earth guy and very generous. When I candidly mentioned during the interview that I had caused trouble at my previous job, he burst out laughing. Man, with that honesty, I'm surprised anyone would hire you. But it seemed like my honesty won him over, and I got the job. I'm deeply grateful to the boss who took a chance on someone like me, and I genuinely wanted to prove my worth. The boss gave me opportunities to learn, and now, occasionally, I even act as the deputy head of the factory. I've earned various certifications and got a raise in pay. I'm now 28, and it's been 10 years since I started working at this factory, making me somewhat of a veteran here. Though the factory is mostly full of rugged men, there's a princess of solace here. Did you behave well today, Bella? Woof woof. Yes, this fluffy brown Shiba Inu is our factory's princess, Bella. About 5 years ago, she was found abandoned near the factory, and the boss rescued her. Since then, a kennel was set up in front of the office, and everyone takes turns caring for her. But Bella seems to have a soft spot for me, so I often feed her. Look, I brought a toy for you today. And Bella, being a girl, loves fluttery things. She once bit into the office curtain so hard she tore it, proving she can't resist anything that flutters. Because of that incident, Bella isn't allowed inside the office anymore. Since fluttery things are quite rare around these parts, I sometimes give her ribbons or handkerchiefs as toys. But Bella can be a little finicky. If she doesn't like something, she won't even give it a second glance. It seems the handkerchief I brought today was a miss. She didn't look at this at all. In fact, she even seemed a tad displeased. Ahaha, I guess you only like cute things, huh? Woof woof. Such a girl, I thought as I patted Bella's head and walked away. Break time is coming up, so I thought I'd eat my packed lunch with Bella. Just then, a beautiful woman passed by me. I gave a nod as we crossed paths. She was wearing a white skirt and a peach-colored cardigan completely out of place in this greasy factory. She seemed to be headed for the office. Maybe she's a guest of the boss, just as that thought crossed my mind. Woof, woof. From behind, I heard Bella's bark. Turning around, I saw her biting onto the woman's skirt. Darn it. Her toy was a dud today, so Bella's playful urge wasn't satisfied. She must have thought the skirt was a toy. Hey Bella, stop that. I hurried to intervene, but her skirt seemed soft and fluffy. As I rushed over, there was an awful ripping sound. Eek. Oh no, there was a tear in her long skirt, revealing quite a bit. The woman desperately held her skirt, and I quickly pulled Bella away. Hearing the commotion, the boss's wife, who's currently head of administration, came out of the office. Seeing the situation, she said, "Hold on, John. Hold Bella back." She hurried back into the office and returned with a towel, which she draped over the woman's skirt, then escorted her into the office. I pulled on Bella's leash and tied her up at the back of the factory. Had to do it, or she'd likely barge into the office again. No way, Bella. You need to reflect on what you've done for a while. Bella kept whining. To be honest, it hurt me, but it's a fact that she ruined the lady's skirt. I scolded Bella and went back to the office. And there she was, that lady, now wearing our company's uniform. Her name was Amy. It seems boss's wife lent her a spare uniform. I'm really sorry. I apologized to Amy again. Amy, with a wry smile, said, I have a dog too, so it's all right. Don't worry about it. Besides, it was my mistake to come to the factory wearing a skirt. Turns out, Amy is the daughter of the CEO of a computer manufacturing company we deal with. She had to deliver some urgent documents and came in her casual clothes. I had received a heads up that the CEO's off-duty daughter would be coming. I had my reservations about her attire, but she's higher up the chain, so it couldn't be helped. Amy had more business with the boss, and while they were talking, boss's wife went out to buy a replacement for the damaged dress, so I went back to my workstation. It's rare for a blue-collar worker like me to chat with the daughter of a business partner's CEO. But just when I thought that, a week later, I bumped into her at a park. I was there walking Bella, and she seemed to be walking her dog too. Amy owns a Chihuahua named Lucy. At first, Bella and Lucy were wary of each other, but they quickly became friends. It's been a while. Never thought I'd see you here. Sorry about the other day. It was a bit awkward for me, but Amy was petting Belle affectionately, despite her having torn her dress. Apparently, Lucy had torn Amy's skirts several times before, so she understood that Bella just wanted to play. Since then, we often bumped into each other during our walks. I thought, being a CEO's daughter, she'd be very posh, but Amy was not what you'd expect, in a good way. She's very down to earth. And she's kind-hearted and caring. I don't always take care of Bella, so I only know the basics of dog care. However, Amy told me, if she's turning skirts into toys, she's probably stressed out. You should get her a proper tour. She even accompanied me to the pet store when choosing toys for Bella. But when choosing toys, she said, it's not about the price. Dogs have their preferences. She seemed more like a regular girl than a rich heiress. Furthermore, she's 28, the same age as me. We had a lot in common, and before I knew it, we started dating. I told Amy everything, even about the trouble I caused at my previous job. But Amy said, I can't imagine that from the current John. You must have worked hard to change yourself. That's amazing. Only she and my boss told me so. It made me happy, and her positivity has saved me multiple times. She always supported me, even when I made mistakes at work. Soon, I couldn't imagine life without her. I made up my mind to make her happy for the rest of our lives. As a testament to my commitment, a year into our relationship, I presented her with a ring worth 3 months' salary and mustered up the courage to say, "Will you marry me?" She smiled warmly and replied, "Of course." A few years ago, I never imagined myself getting married. But now, I want to marry Amy. I can't think of marrying anyone else. I'm head over heels for her. But getting married means we can't avoid meeting the parents. Meeting my family would be a breeze. They were even tearfully overjoyed that I brought home such a wonderful lady. But her family, they are business partners with my company. More like, we're in a subcontractor position to them. For the daughter of the CEO to be dating a worker from a small subcontracting factory seems quite mismatched. Of course, her parents would be strongly against it. But I won't back down. Thankfully, the boss told me, "Don't worry about work. Go and take a wife." Amy also told me, "I've already spoken to my dad. If he's willing to meet you, that means he's accepted it." So, I visited Amy's family home. It was an impressive mansion. As expected of a renowned computer manufacturing company CEO's residence. Coming from a modest background, I was quite nervous. As I stepped in, her father, a stern-looking man in a sharp suit, greeted me. It seemed like her mother was preparing tea, but her father stopped her, saying, "We don't serve tea to the likes of him." Hearing this, Amy snapped at him, "Dad, why would you say that?" But her father sighed deeply and said, "Amy, listen, you'll inherit the company one day, and yet you're considering marrying a guy like him, someone from a poor subcontractor. He doesn't have a brain or an education. He's an absolute loser." "Stop it. Why are you saying such things? Enough. Kids should be seen and not heard. I'll find someone worthy for you. Break it off with this loser. Well, his company's probably going under anyway." I could only muster an "huh" to the smug-looking father. What does he mean by going under? In fact, our company is soon partnering with a major corporation. When that happens, our current contracts will be significantly revised. I'll make sure the factory you work at is the first to go. That's what you get for laying a hand on my daughter. Oh, and I might as well let our business partners know about the bad reputation of your factory. What an incompetent company hiring such an incompetent man. Enough is enough. I instinctively stood up. It's fine if he mocks me, but I won't tolerate him belittling the boss who built the factory from scratch and is protecting the workers. The father then snorted with laughter. "See, all you can do when hit with the truth is bark. Get out of here." With that said, I replied, "Excuse me," and left the room. I wanted to take Amy with me, but I didn't want to create a bigger rift between her and her father. But to my surprise, she followed me. "I'm sorry, Amy, for what I said to your dad." "It's okay, actually, I feel relieved," Amy said with a radiant smile. "While I understand if my father dislikes you for some reason, it's inexcusable for him to let his personal feelings affect the factory workers. He looked down on subcontractors, but many people work in that factory. The CEO should protect his employees, yet he made such a statement. I lost all respect for him. I was working as his secretary, but I told him I'm quitting." Her determined expression gave me a bit of relief, but the fact that one of our business partners is now an issue remains unchanged. So I reported everything honestly to the boss. "I'm really sorry. What are you talking about? You stood up for me, right? Cheer up." The boss was laughing heartily as always, but his eyes weren't. Then he said, "Amy was a secretary, right? Does she have another job lined up? I think she's still looking for. Well, tell her she can start working here immediately. We'd be glad to have her." I couldn't comprehend what the boss was saying. Given the possibility that our factory might get shut down, why was he so calm? While I was still puzzled, the boss started making a phone call, so I decided to head home for the day. But the next day, I witnessed an unbelievable scene. Men in sharp suits were lined up in front of our company, and leading them was none other than Amy's father. I deeply apologize for my behavior. Please find it in your heart to forgive me. Hey now, apologizing to a poor subcontractor, won't that tarnish your company's reputation?" the boss said, giving Amy's father a cold look. What on earth happened? As I stood there in shock. Woof woof. From behind, I could hear Bella's voice. I turned around to see the boss's wife just coming back from the morning walk with Bella. "Ma'am, we have a problem." "Oh, he seems really mad, but it's rare for him to take advantage of his parents." "What?" Seeing my confusion, the boss's wife whispered, "It's a secret, but I'll tell you." She then shared a hidden fact about the boss. He's actually the son of a major corporation CEO. It's a company so famous that even I've heard of it. Apparently, the boss decided not to inherit the business and went on his own. He didn't want to ride his parents' coattails and didn't want any unwarranted expectations, so he silently built his company with his own abilities. And the company that Amy's company was trying to form a business partnership with was his parents' company. As soon as I told the boss about what happened to me, he contacted his parents. He relayed everything I was told, the personal reasons for terminating the contract, and the potentially damaging statements made. His parents were furious. They deemed the partnership inappropriate and decided against the business alliance. "Please, we've already lost several subcontractors. If we can't secure this partnership, our company will suffer major losses." The contracts you lost are your own doing, and you're apologizing to the wrong person. I don't recall getting any insults from you." With that, the boss turned to me. Noticing my presence, Amy's father approached me desperately. "I'm so sorry. I even approve of your marriage to my daughter. Please, help us. But there's nothing I can do. After all, I wasn't the one who terminated the business alliance. The partnership was declined because of issues with your character. There's nothing I can do. How could you abandon us like this? No, remember you called me a poor loser. How could someone like me possibly help with company? Now, I have work to do, excuse me." With that, I headed back to the factory. I could hear Amy's father saying something, but I didn't care. I felt bad for Amy, but there's really nothing I can do. I'll apologize to her later. Then, I heard a voice. "Way to go, John. You sure know when to speak up." I looked over to see Amy, dressed in office attire. "Amy, why are you here?" "The boss hired me as a secretary. I got the call yesterday and was thinking of signing the employment contract today, but then I saw my dad here." She gave her a smile and added, "You speaking your mind, John. It's really cool. Made me fall for you all over again." "Amy, haha, I'd love to chat more, but the boss's wife is calling me. I'm looking forward to working with you." With that, Amy left. It seemed the relationship between Amy and her father was worse than I thought. She looked quite relieved. A month later. In the end, Amy's father's company lost the business partnership and several subcontractors. They downsized significantly to avoid bankruptcy. However, word got out, and it's been difficult for them to get new contracts. They could go under any day now. It was entirely their own doing. The boss once said, if no one was there to help during hard times, the company would have gone under sooner or later. Some of the employees who were laid off due to downsizing were apparently hired at our factory or the boss's family business. It's the boss's way of tying up loose ends. And as for me, I'm currently undergoing training to become the next CEO. The reason being, the boss and his wife don't have any children, so there's no heir apparent. You've always been hardworking. Plus, Amy's getting the hang of the admin side of things. I can trust the two of you to take over. And so, he began training us to take over the business. There's a lot to learn every day, and it's tough, but it's rewarding and fun. Not only is work keeping me busy, but we're also preparing for our wedding. Every day is hectic, but I have Amy by my side, and the boss, and my colleagues at the factory. Woof woof. Oh right. Can't forget about Bella. Bella played Cupid for us, after all. I truly am blessed with great people around me. So many have helped me out, so now it's my turn to give back. I want to repay all the kindness I've received. And with that thought, today, just like any other day, Amy and I are working hard together